All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about personal business. Now, most of the people here, we give you pretty much enough leads to keep you busy all day long, and you don't need to write personal business on your friends, family, people you meet on an airplane. You don't have to do that. But if you happen to do that, you make about 3 times as much on the same case. If you find the case, if I don't have to pay for the marketing on it, we pay you a lot more money. And yet, I'd say 80 to 90% of the people out in the seat have never even written one single personal case. It always surprises me. I don't quite understand that. People are like, well, I don't want to be that guy or that gal. I don't want to be the guy that, you know, everywhere you go to dinner and you're trying to sell your friends. And I just don't want to be that guy. That was my prior life when I used to work at New York Life. Everywhere you go, you got to work the floor, and everybody just, you know, and so I'll tell you a little story, and this is another epiphany, a wake-up call. You know, it was when the light went on, and it was a tragic situation. But when my kids were younger, we used to carpool with a couple other families for these bar mitzvah parties in Northbrook. They have like 2 of these a weekend when they're in 7th grade, and one of the families we got to know pretty well was a family that had twins the same age as my son. It was a boy-girl fraternal twins, and same age as my older son, and we got to know the family pretty well. And she was dropping the kids off one time, so she came in to talk to my wife, and she's, oh my God, Byron, I was driving in my car the other day, and I heard you on the radio, and I'm like, I know that guy, that was so cool. I'm like, wow, great, I wish I had a nickel every time someone told me that. She said, but you know, Dave doesn't think he can get insurance. Dave's her husband. She said, Dave doesn't think he can get insurance. I'm like, well, why not? Well, a couple years ago, we found out he's diabetic. I'm like, okay, well, diabetic, does he take his medication? Yeah. Is he fairly well controlled? I know he's a little overweight, but I mean, does he take it? Yeah, he seems he's working, he's fine. He's, you know, I said, he's probably not going to get the same rate as someone who's a marathon runner who doesn't have diabetes, but he can get insurance if you want insurance. If you ever need it, you know where I am. Just call me. I'm happy to do whatever. I'll help you out. I'll save you money. This is what we do. And she never called me, and I never called her. About a year later, I find out that Dave has just been diagnosed with a brain tumor the size of like an orange. So they had to go in and cut his skull open, take out this brain tumor. He temporarily at least recovers, goes back to work for 6 months. A year later, he has a relapse. He's dead. Dies. And I'm thinking to myself, here I am. I pride myself on being the king life insurance salesman in the country. I think I'm as good as anybody. But I make a lot of money. I don't need to be hounding my friends, right? I mean, why? You know, I reached out to him. She reached out to me. I told her I'm here if she needs me. What should I have done? If she gave me a little bit of a signal, I should have said, Joy, here's what we're going to do. You let me know what night next week. I'm coming to your house. We're going to go over your stuff. And I don't know whether they had enough life insurance or they didn't have enough life insurance. All I know is I feel like a total dweeb not doing what I should have done. I should have reached out. I can guarantee you if I went to their house that week, he would have got more life insurance, and they would own more life insurance. They'd be better off now than they are, and I'm pissed at myself. I'm really, really pissed at myself. So I don't do that anymore. I mean, I don't care who it is. If they're strangers, if they talk about, you should call me, I call them. I do. I really do. Because I feel an obligation. Do I need the money? No, I don't. But you know what? No one else is going to do a better job than me. And so I feel an obligation to pass that on. I feel an obligation to share what I know. I feel an obligation to get people covered, and you should too. There's no reason to, in any way, shape, or form, back away from what you do when it comes to people you run into in your life. You're going to run into people everywhere you go. I just bought a bicycle online from a guy from my house in Colorado. And at the end of my final email to him, I said, by the way, if you haven't figured it out, I'm in the life insurance business, and if you ever need life insurance, I'd love to help you. He says, as a matter of fact, I probably am overpaying. We should talk. All I had to do was throw it out there. I bought some shelving for the old building. I was buying some pallet racks to store copy paper and all kinds of other nonsense. And I said to the guy, oh, by the way, you know, who does your life insurance? Well, as a matter of fact, I was just about to look at my life insurance. Sold him $26,000 in premium. I mean, you just ask. You cannot believe everywhere you go, people, because you know what? No one's doing it anymore. 25 years ago, they used to get phone calls all the time, cold calls. They don't get them anymore. No one even asks them. So you'd be surprised how much personal business can be done because you're going to be good at this. I mean, after just a few months, you're going to have sold hundreds of policies. I mean, you're going to be good at it. You're not going to feel guilty talking to your friends and family. So I think it's really important.